Hi, welcome to Made to Heal with Angela Brown. I am excited to be here today for my topic. So please hang in there. This is a very, very important topic for every human being. So I just want to thank you for joining my channel. Please share it. Please subscribe. The message that I have to share, our messages are positive and uplifting and hopefully helpful for you in your journey and others. So please tag people in it and share away. So I want to get to the heart of the matter. We are going to talk about the heart. Today is Wealth is Health Wednesday for me, and it doesn't have to be Wednesday for you. It could be any day of the week because wealth is health. If you want wealth, you will have your health because you can have all the wealth in the world and be sickly or not feeling good and in physical pain all the time. And what good is that going to do you? So, true wealth is health, feeling healthy. And I will get into what I do to feel healthy because I have never felt better in my entire life. I feel amazing. There may be people that come up and tell me that say, "You're too skinny, you don't look healthy," but I feel healthy and I'm fine. I'm not too skinny for my body type, but um, you know, right? When it's your body, you know. So let's get into the heart. Before I get into the herbs, why the heart? Why am I starting with the heart? Let's tell you some things about the heart. The heart is the sovereign ruler of the entire body. Everything else, all other body systems, work under the heart. And the heart, I didn't know this before I took a class on herbs that help support the heart, but the heart actually communicates with the brain, which I knew that, but I did not know that it was the heart that instructs the brain, not vice versa. I always thought it was the brain that instructs everything else. No, the heart instructs the brain. So everything works under and for the heart, for the heart's good. And so it's so important. So I want to share some other things. Moving blood is the focus for strengthening the heart. If you're not getting your blood moving through healthy eating, exercise, drinking plenty of water, if that's not going on for you, then your heart is suffering. So it's important to know that blood flow is huge. It's important. And the heart, let's see, heart disease. Heart disease is caused by processed foods and all refined sugars. Oh my goodness. If you go to any grocery store or the gas station and you walk those aisles, most everything is full of chemicals, full of ingredients that are fake. They're not food. They're destroying for your health. Literally, it destroys your health. And if you turn those boxes over and you're reading the ingredients to the chips, the drinks, the crackers, cookies, whatever it is, because they're addicting, whatever it is, if you can't pronounce them, number one, they're not for your body. And if you're eating something that has a big, large list, that's a good indicator it's not good for your body because it's so full of preservatives to keep it to last on the shelves longer. So that's another indicator that's probably not great for your body. And refined sugars is terrible. It causes inflammation. All the processed foods cause inflammation, puts the body in an acidic state. And so it's so important to know that how we eat is very important for our heart health. And I'll get into this later. This may be a bigger video, a longer video than I normally intended to, but this is a huge, important topic. Heart health is number one because it is the powerhouse of your body. It keeps things pumping. And if it's not working, you're in trouble. We're all in trouble if it's not working. But it goes on a deeper level than that. Heart health is on a spiritual level, emotional level, mental, what thoughts we're getting in and what's going on there, and physical. It's all intertwined. So I can get into that here in a little bit on heart health. But did you know that the heart records everything? It's kind of like your own little book of life. It records everything, all your experiences. And this is really cool because as a foot zone practitioner, I know where your heart is located on the bottom of your foot. It's only on the left side. Unless your heart is on your right side, then it's probably on your right side, because there are people that actually have their heart on the right side. Very rare. But for most people, your heart is going to be on your left foot, the area where your heart sits. And as I look, when I work through this area, more people than not, most people are crunchy in that area, which means there's some issues. It doesn't mean, oh my, go see your doctor right away. You got heart problems, and not to scare people, right? No. Oh, sorry. I live in a very loud neighborhood. They're not supposed to be doing those, but I apologize for the big bang. It is almost the 4th of July. But where was I? I got distracted. I got distracted. I am so sorry. But hearts, yeah, I was on the book as a foot zone practitioner. I get to see hearts. And sometimes there can be a callus in the heart area where it feels hardened on your foot. And that's because you have protected yourself. You have put so many barriers up because so many things have happened. I'm going to get personal, and I'm going to share a little experience of mine. So when I was just 7 years old, I was raped. And that was devastating for me. And on top of it, the person that had done it said, if you tell anybody, I will kill you and your family. And so I'm thinking, my 7-year-old self was like, well, if he can do this to me, then he'll definitely do that to me. So mum's the word. I didn't say anything, but boy, did it have an effect on my heart. I was so closed off. I went from being a very energetic, vibrant, just outgoing child that just had this light, to very withdrawn, very sad, very didn't know what happened to my world, very turned upside down. And it made me completely introverted, and I felt lonely. It was lonely. It was lonely to carry this burden. And then I dealt with depression and suicidal thoughts. And then I was eating foods that wasn't helping that. And so, heart health is important. And I had found, I have to work at loving others. I really do. If you do not, and scientists, there was a scientist that was on, and I don't even know his name, but he was saying studies have shown that if you do not feel love in the formative years, which the formative years are between the ages of 0 and 7, and if you do not feel that love from your parents, and I think it's important that you feel it from both parents, right? If you do not feel that love, it affects you for the rest of your life, and you're done for. Pretty much no hope. And I don't believe in no hope mindset, right? I don't believe. There is always hope through Christ. There is always hope, and there's always healing that can take place. And so, but I was just realizing after I had been a couple years in my healing journey, or maybe it was even before my healing journey, I think it was actually before I had hit rock bottom, I come to the understanding that why is it, God, why is it that I have a hard time loving my kids as teens? I was having a hard time connecting with them, and I just really had a hard time with love and with my emotions. And I remembered, gosh, I was such a good mom when they were babies, and when they were toddlers and small children. I felt like I was awesome. I always gave them hugs and held them and was nurturing. And then it hit me. It was about the age of 7, when my kids hit the age of 7, when I put that barrier, when I put that distance and that wall up. And it was like subconsciously I was having a conversation with their subconscious, and it was just like, I can't even deal. I don't know how to move forward, kind of a thing. And it was crazy. So I just, I was wondering, why, God, what? And I realized it was at the age of 7, and God said, yeah, that it was because of your experience, and it's had an effect. And so, yes, it affects things. And so I've been known to, I mean, I don't know if anybody's told you, but I'm being real honest here, because I'm a human being, and I have emotions, and I have my hard, ugly, bad days like everybody else. And maybe you can relate with this with me. Put it in the comments. You know, I like to feel like I'm not the only one out there, but have you ever been called cold-hearted or hard-hearted? I mean, I have. I have in my lifetime, several times. And we are commanded in the scriptures to have soft hearts, soften our hearts. It's when we have hard hearts, when we're hard hearted, we're going to run into problems. That's when we are full of pride and we don't look for direction as much. So it's important that we can work on softening our hearts. And I'll get into what I do to help soften my heart, but let's keep going on and talking about heart health because it's important. So I was talking about the heart recording everything and the emotions. The heart needs to process through these emotions. If it doesn't, it's going to suffer. The heart must process through them. And here's another tidbit of information. Did you know that feeling lonely, the feelings of loneliness is harder on your heart than actually being obese? Let that sit for a minute. If you're feeling lonely or not supported, that can be more hard on your heart than being overweight. Heart disease, guess how soon it starts? Heart disease starts as early as in the early teens. That's when heart disease starts. That's scary. It's a no wonder. That's all that's available on the shelves. If you're used to shopping the standard American diet way, if that's how you shop, then that's what we're up against. We are literally putting our teens in harm's way to getting heart disease later on in life because of the crap that's put out on the shelves. Let's talk about herbs. So herbs aren't my number one thing for working on the heart, but it's in the top 3. It's the third one. The one thing that we can do is take herbs to support. Now, if you're on some heart medication, I'm not prescribing here at all whatsoever. I'm just letting you know of herbs that can strengthen and support the heart. So if you're on medication, always run it by your doctor or health practitioner. Please run it by them before you even take anything, okay? So that way my tush is covered. Okay, so let's go over some herbs that are really great for the heart. Hawthorn is the best. Hawthorn is the best herb you can take that would help strengthen your heart. Argina, it's a herb that comes from a tree, and it's really great for strengthening a heart too. And it helps with the heart physically and emotionally, so that's big. There's motherwort, linden, and hibiscus tea. Those are all herbal tea. Hibiscus herbal tea. Those are great things that help lower the blood pressure to help your heart. So your heart's not working as hard. And garlic. Garlic helps your heart. Eating garlic. If you don't like to eat garlic, they have odorless garlic capsules that you can take daily to where your breath isn't going to stink. I love the taste of garlic and flavor, and so I'm just like, well, whatever. I'll suck on some cloves to get rid of that garlic smell because garlic in the freshest form is best. So fresh garlic, I have like this garlic presser, and I just mince a bunch over, when I say a bunch, 2 cloves or 3, 4, depending on the size of them. If they're big, I stay to 1 or 2. But it's very flavorful and super great for heart health. Ashwagandha helps heal the heart issues. If you're having heart issues, ashwagandha helps. Most people that are dealing with depression feel lonely and unsupported, and it causes depression. And so ashwagandha is really good for that too. Ashwagandha is something that, and all herbs too, you can't just take it for a week or 2 going, well, that didn't work, or take it for a month and going, well, that didn't work, I'm done buying that. No, it takes years and months for you to get where you're at. So you need to give it at least 3 months, minimum 3 months of trying an herb, unless your body's having an adverse reaction to it. Most people don't have adverse reactions to herbs. And if you do, your body lets you know, but it's not for most, unless it's a huge allergic reaction. It's not going to give you all the side effects that maybe a pill a doctor will prescribe. I get it. Some people have to be on heart medication pills, and I'm not telling you to stop those. You work with your practitioner on that. But also red sage, is good for heart health. And roses, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Uh, Lovers give their significant other roses, and so there's a reason for that, right? Roses have been known as the flower of love for centuries. And so, even smelling the rose essential oil, just opening a lid and just allowing yourself to smell that will help. Um, let's see, dong quai. Dong quai is a Chinese herb, and it helps with blood flow. The Chinese call it qi, which is life force. Our heart is our life force. It is the blood flow. It is the chamber which makes sure the blood is flowing great. And if we're not supporting our heart, then we get blockages due to high fatty foods, trapped emotions, uh, heart walls, barriers, and there's also vascular defense by Nutrition, Sun Nutrition. If you go to sunnutrition.com, you can look at their vascular defense, and that just helps with the circulation and so much more. Helps with heart health. So it's so important that we take care of our hearts. I want to go back to the nutrition because it's that important. So I'm going to just share my journey, because over half my life I have eaten the standard American diet. When my twin sister and I were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, my parents were given a very grim outlook. They said that the doctors had told them that my sister and I wouldn't live most likely to the age of 2 or 5. If we pass that hurdle, then we are going to spend half our life in the hospital, just living in the hospital. And people of this condition did not make it past their early 20s. They all pass away. I don't know what it is for people that are diagnosed with it now, but this was back in the late 70s, and that was very grim. And so my parents, they didn't have insurance at the time, so they thought there's got to be a better way. So they put the family, they ran into this holistic lady, very, very knowledgeable, and she told my dad, didn't you know all of your answers lie in nature? All your answers to help heal your girls, it's all in nature. And so I'm so grateful that my parents took that information and ran with it, and they switched the whole household, everybody's lifestyle. We went from eating how they ate, the standard American diet, to eating very, very, very healthy back then for the late 70s. Wasn't as healthy as how I'm eating now, but very healthy. Taking away certain foods, I'll get into that later. But so it helped reverse my condition. Or maybe not reverse, because there's a lot of people believe that you can't heal diseases. I believe you can heal diseases. It's not a life sentence. It's not who defines you. Healing is there for everyone. And so I truly feel like I'm healed when I'm eating the proper foods, when I'm fueling my body with the proper fuel, then I am doing great. So my parents worked really hard at feeding us super healthy. And then what happens? We go to school and we hit the age of about 5th grade, because that's when I was really babysitting a lot and earning my own money. And as soon as I made money, it was gone out the door. Guess what I was buying? Junk food, bubble gum. I wasn't a huge pop drinker, but anytime we went to a party, any type of party, and there was always, drinks are usually always served, and get all the drinks you want. And I would go to town on them, and I would suffer later. It didn't make me feel good. So I've never been a huge soda drinker, but I did drink sodas. And then we'd get invited to birthday parties, and I'd eat cake, ice cream, pizza, just you name it, whatever. The standard American food. And whenever we could get our hands on it, it's addicting, right? And so thank goodness our parents kept us eating super healthy until we left the house. And my parents have eaten healthy from then on. That was just their mission. They wanted to save their girl's life, and they saw the benefits in their own health and their own life, and they continued that on. Well, when I left the house, I was not going to be that weirdo going to college and eating weird. And besides that, it's usually more money. And I could only afford mac and cheese, ramen noodle. And I literally lived off of mac and cheese and ramen noodles. And I would buy a thing of celery to act like I was healthy, just to give something there to just help push everything else through, right? So I did not eat healthy, and then got married and ate as my husband's family did, the standard American diet, which if you take the first letter of each one, it makes the acronym SAD. It is a sad diet because you're going to be going down a road of decline with your health eating that way. Most people have well, I don't know about most people. A lot of people are catching on that our foods are tainted and they're laden with chemicals, and it's not a conspiracy theory anymore, because in Doctrine and Covenants, section 89, we've been warned. Verse 4, it talks about the evil conspiring minds and hearts of evil men, and they have made food so addicting. They want us to eat it, and they want us to become reliant on the medical field. I am not against the medical field whatsoever, because they have helped my family in times of need. But we are to become self-reliant in helping our households stay healthy. And in order to stay healthy, we've got to put in the work, and how we fuel our bodies is so important. So I'm going to get into sharing how I eat and my lifestyle. Nobody in my home does this. In fact, I think they all pretty much think I'm nuts. And I have, family that are like, hey, haven't you thought of giving yourself just one cheat day? Just giving yourself one cheat day. If you give yourself one cheat day, then you can enjoy life a little bit. But I know my personality too well, because I've been there. I've actually done the lifestyle that I'm on three different times in the past, and it didn't last any of those times. It did not last longer than 5 months. So, and now I'm going on almost 2 years, and it's actually lasted because I've had a whole new mindset towards it. I was doing it to get rid of something, and I felt so slighted and that I was missing out. I had FOMO, fear of missing out so much, right? And so this person said, why don't you just allow yourself a cheat day? Well, here's the deal. When I allow myself a cheat day, and if I chose to have a cheesecake or a pizza and cheesecake and a soda Friday night, that Friday night would turn into, I would have it for Friday night and Saturday night. And then it would go from 2 nights to 3 nights to 4 nights to what the heck, I'm off and I'm back to the standard American diet. And I just know my personality, and if I'm going to be in on something, I have to be all in, because this is my body and I have to take care of it, and nobody can do that journey for me. And I have to really listen to my body after foods I eat. And the way I eat now is the raw vegan diet. I used to eat vegan for 11 straight years. Oh gosh, this was between the year of 98, from 98 to 2009, the beginning of 2009, or it was the tail end of 2008, the very tail end of 2008. So I went from 98 to the end of 2008. So I was about 11 years. That I had been vegan, and I had never felt better in my entire life. I felt great. But I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't eating French fries every day, but I still ate French fries because it was vegan. There was no animal product. And I ate Oreos because they're vegan, and Nutter Butters, I think, are vegan, but they're horrible for your health. And I wasn't downing them all the time. But I was just like, vegan. I was very a health conscious vegan. I tried to stay as healthy as possible, right? But I still had junk. And then fast forward, 11 years later, I was in my 5th pregnancy, and I craved everything under the sun. So I caved into every one of those pregnancies, and that was the end of it. And I stayed on that standard American diet. And it was when this child in that pregnancy, that baby now grew to 6 or 7, and God was telling me, hey, you know how you feel today? It's just going to keep getting worse. You probably need to do something about it soon. Well, guess what? I ignored the warning. I ignored it. I didn't completely ignore it, because I told my husband, yeah, remember when I used to eat super strict? God's telling me I need to even be more strict than that. But I'm not ready for that. And I don't know when I'll be ready, but I know it's in my future. I know it's in the future that I've got to do this if I want to go down a path of feeling healthy and having energy And so it took another 7 years. So when that baby was about 14, I changed my diet drastically, and it only lasted 5 months. And then I went back on the bandwagon and ate the standard American diet. Well, it was December of 24, the very beginning of December 24. We were still, it was Thanksgiving came late that year. So it was still Thanksgiving coming over, Thanksgiving weekend. And I was like, I just kept getting this. This is making me sick. This is not what I'm supposed to be putting in my body. And I just told God right then and there, because, he was nudging me like, hey, there's no time like now. You feel like crap, and this is a great time. And I'm like, I know, God, Christmas, let me just get past the holidays. Let me just get past the holidays, and then I'll start. And then he quickly had a comeback, because God is so wise. He was like, hello, Christmas comes once a year. So does every other holiday, Easter, birthdays, wedding anniversaries, and you name it, celebrations. Anytime people like to celebrate with food, and that's year long. If you haven't realized, that's all year long. And I'm like, and I have a big family. We have lots of birthdays, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. So yeah, I need to decide whether I'm going to do this or not, huh? And pretty much he was like, yeah, you're going to do this? Only you can do this for you. And so that's when I just started. I started my raw vegan journey. I probably eat, I think less than 1% of the world's population eat this way. It is super strict. But usually people have to hit rock bottom in their health. I wasn't super rock bottom, right? I could have been worse off. I could have gotten diagnosed with cancer or something scary. I wasn't going to the doctors. I wasn't diagnosed with something scary, but I was feeling numb from the tips of my fingers to the bottoms of my shoulder blades. And I was waking up to them numb, where I couldn't feel my arms. And I would go to do my hair, and if I had my hands up so high, they would get numb, and I couldn't feel them. And that was really scary to me. I said, oh my goodness. And I was aching. I was hurting. I was cleaning homes, um, more homes than I do now. I still clean, but I was cleaning a lot, and I was in pain for 7 to 8 months. I hurt so bad. And I was suffering in my neck and back and just everywhere. And I just told my husband, I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can clean. This is terrible on my health. It's not helping me. And I thought, how sad is that? I'm going to have to get rid of my part of our livelihood of supporting the family. I'm going to have to get rid of that. But I had watched a guy. My parents had been raw vegan. I had tried it a couple other times, and 3 other times prior to this, and it didn't stick. And I went to the reason why I'm going in deep dive, because this is important. This is important for heart health. Okay, you want your heart healthy. Stay away from fats and different things, and refined sugars. But this time around, I just decided I got to do it for myself. And my parents had eaten this way, and I thought it was really weird. I'm like, I will never eat that way. That's weird. Never say never, because it always comes to bite me in the butt every time. So when I saw that my parents ate that, I'm like, good for you. I'll never do that. Just whatever. But it took somebody else on YouTube. I came across this guy's YouTube channel, and he's a guy that goes in and remodels homes. He really guts them on the inside. So it's just a shell structure on the outside, and he will just totally take it and turn it into something beautiful, and rebuilds and makes it just beautiful. So he was likening it to his lifestyle and how he ate. And he was like, I'm a raw vegan. I eat, and actually he was a fruitarian. He was even more than a raw vegan, but I'm like, I'm not going that strict. I will just go raw vegan, and I think that's good enough for me. But he was explaining how he was gutting these homes, and it was the likeness of our bodies, how we need to clean our bodies out, and how they get so gummed up and just deteriorated, and how our bodies deteriorate, and the fuel that we put in them really matter. And my dad had been saying things for years that I just went in one ear out the other, but he really said something, and that's when it came to light when I'm listening to this guy. And he would always say, living foods, living bodies, dead foods, dead bodies. And I was like, that resonated to me right then and there. And So I had decided that December 2nd of 24 that I would go on this journey, and nothing was going to stop me. It was the hardest. It's still hard sometimes, not near as hard as it was the first 6 months. The first 6 months is the hardest when you do something like this, because food is addicting. My whole family just thought I was crazy, but my husband's been very supportive, and that's important. So as long as you have support doing, I hear people that they'll leave their spouse or divorce their spouse because they're just not in alignment with how they eat or with religion or whatever. And oh boy, there are worser things to get divorces over. So yeah, no, I love my husband, and he's amazing, and he's been super supportive. In fact, in the beginning, he would be like, "Here, just try this, just one bite, it's so good." And then I explained to him, "Look, I don't think you know how hard this is for me, and I'm not going to." And he just really apologized to me. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I will never do that again." And he hasn't. He's been so supportive of giving me good foods. So I'm grateful for that. So I eat very strict, and going on 2 years. And a lot of people are like, "Well, how long do you plan to do it?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I'd love to do it for the rest of my life. That's the plan. But I don't have a crystal ball of things that are going to go on, but I feel really good." So our fuel matters. That's my health journey. I've been a raw vegan for going on 2 years. This December 2nd will be 2 years, and I'm still healing. I'm still, purging. I'm still detoxing. It takes a long time to get all the gunk out of your body. Like I said, I ate the standard American diet for more than half my life, and it takes a while. When you treat your body like crap for decades, it's not going to be an overnight process. It's not going to be months. It's probably going to take, more than 2 years. So I'm willing to do that. Super long post, but I wanted to talk about the number one. So diet is super important. That's like the third thing that we can do. The third thing that's super important of eating foods that are going to help our heart stay happy, light, not heavy, and keep that blood flow really good, right? Eating good, clean foods that are the most natural you can get your hands on. That's the best. So, fruits, vegetables, sprouts, raw nuts, seeds, that's what I live off of. Everything is not cooked, and I eat everything raw, and it's great, and I feel good. And I'm not saying everybody has to do this, because maybe some people can't. I literally know I literally know my body cannot digest meat, and it cannot take in dairy. And I know how it reacts to every time I eat sugar. That's when the pain would come. Arthritis, pain comes from inflammation, and it comes from acid forming foods, which is meat, dairy, and sugar. So I highly recommend anybody that's dealing with those kinds of things, your heart will thank you for it too, to just get off of those acidic forming foods. So that's a third thing that you can do. The second most important that I would say is really processing through your emotions. And I'm a foot zone practitioner. So I don't know where you are in the world, but if you can find a foot zone practitioner that is close to you, get a foot zone session. You will feel amazing, and it helps heart circulate the blood flow, and it helps heart health, and it helps on the emotion level as well, spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical. And it is amazing. So that's one tool that you can do, a foot zone session that will help you process through those emotions. We need to allow ourselves to feel our emotions rather than numb ourselves and choose to distract ourselves to not feel. So that's the second. Allow yourself to feel. Let that heart feel. And then the number one important thing of the three that we can do is prayer. Pray for a softened heart. I do it daily. That is the number one thing I pray about is, God, help me soften my heart. Help me to align my heart to your will, my mind and your heart, my heart to your heart and mind. Please help me to be more, because I feel like I have to work at it harder, because when I didn't feel loved in those crucial years, it's hard, and it takes work and effort, and that's where prayer comes. And I want to share a miracle, because God has been talking to me in hearts. I just realized a few weeks ago that God has been talking. I thought God had been talking to me in hearts a couple of years before I hit not before I hit rock bottom, within a couple of years of hitting rock bottom. It was actually within a year. Heart rocks just started coming into my life here and there, and heart clouds. that I would just notice that I was like, oh wow, okay, God, you're talking to me through hearts. Thank you. And it started as early as 6. I had a couple favorite sweaters, and they had one sweater had big hearts all over it, colorful hearts, and another sweater was pink, and it had just little tiny hearts of all colors, purple, white, and dark pink and red hearts. And that was a favorite sweater of mine, and I didn't realize that, oh, God planted that seed way back then so that I would recognize in my adult years when he was speaking to me through hearts. It was just calming for me. So um, one of my prayers that I have is, God, please help others feel thy love for them through me. And I do this through my foot zone sessions, right? I'm a foot zone practitioner. And so a miracle that happened to me to this day, this last birthday, this past May, so just a couple months ago, not even a couple months ago, a month and a half ago, it was my birthday. And I get in the mail. To this day, I have no idea who gave it to me. I believe in angels, whether they're earthside or beyond the veil. I don't know how it happened, but it has. And hearts have come to me in crazy ways before, so it wasn't just shocking to me. But I got this package in the mail, and it was a heart rock, a salt heart rock, about this size. So I don't make hearts very well with my hands, but it was a good size heart shaped rock. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so thoughtful. Like, I wonder who gave me this heart rock. That's not important anymore. I am just basking in the miracle of what I got for my birthday. And then the next day, it wasn't done. I got another gift in the mail, and I open it, and it's a bunch of these gems that are about the size of a quarter, of heart rocks, of heart rock gems. Some are made out of turquoise. Some are I'm not familiar with the gem names, but some are light pink. They're the it's something that I just need to learn more of my stones. But there's just a bunch of different colors. And when God gifted me that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's an answer to my prayer, because about 24 of them came in. This thing, just a bunch of them. And I was like, this is how I get to share your love. This is how I get to pass your love to others. So prayer is an answer. So pray to soften your hearts, pray to help pass God's love for others. And at the end of each session, I get to gift. And in fact, I'm realizing I forgot to do it to one of my clients yesterday, but I get to gift each client a heart. And when I gift them this heart, and I like to say it at the end of my videos, but sometimes I forget to, but as I give them this heart, I say, I want you to know that God sees you, God hears you, and God loves you so much. And you don't have to do anything to earn his love. It's always there, and it's just amazing. So that is the number one thing that I like to do to help heart health is pray. Pray for a softened heart. Pray to let down those walls so that others can get in. I'm still learning to let certain walls down in certain areas of my life, to invite even my husband into a certain space. So it's important that we are able to do that and have healing hearts. And when we work on healing the heart with the herbs that I had just suggested go back and listen to it, of the herbs that will help strengthen your heart. But it's more of an emotional and a prayer thing that's going to even help even greater. And the herbs are just, when we're in alignment spiritually and mentally with the emotions and prayer and all that, it's just going to make the physical, the help of the herbs be even more exponential because of what you're doing prior, praying and asking questions and asking for help for the softer heart. That right there is humility in action. That right there is faith. And that is the number one thing that we can do to heal our hearts. Because when we have that connection, when we have that connection to God, he's going to guide us. He will let you know when you pick up that maybe pizza, this isn't the best thing for your heart. Have a healthier choice. Choose wiser, choose better. And we get to choose. We get to choose what we put into our mouth to help strengthen our heart as well. So God blesses you. I hope God blesses each one of you, and that you feel his love, because he truly loves you and he sees you and he hears you. And until next time, we'll be talking to you later. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe to my channel. Bye.